How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be checking out some very fun Element Cup battles, and these are the battles that got me to the Ace rank this season. So I'm sitting around 22-20 something, I believe, and I did start out in rank 18 with this team, and I managed to go 21-4 with this very anti-meta line. Now, I know the Element Cup is not anyone's favorite by any means, and part of that is due to the fact that the meta is just so extremely narrow that there's really only like 5 or 6 mons per PVPoke that are really even usable for the cup. So we're going to head over to the PVPoke rankings here, and I'm going to show you guys in this video why you do not need to run meta in order to succeed in the Element Cup. So we're going to head over to PVPoke here. I'm going to show you guys the spread. The top mons here, Ducklett, insanely overpowered. It's rated 95. Rank 1, obviously, at a 95 score. And the craziest thing to me is the fact that out of the meta, which I believe is like 25, 26 mons, Chinchou is its only loss in the one shield. That is just completely broken, is what it is, really. And you might be thinking, how do you deal with the Ducklett? How do you deal with Chinchou? Because obviously, Chinchou being the only answer to Ducklett, for the meta at least, you might be thinking, how in the world are you beating this thing? Especially when you look at my team, Chinchou is rated 74th with a score of 64. And then you've got, I think Snover might even be just as bad. Yeah, Snover's only rated 55th with a 66.8 rating. And then Lileep, I believe, is my strongest one, sitting at 16th. And that is assuming that you have the now unattainable Bullet Seed. So you might be looking at my team, how in the world do you win with this team? And I'm going to show you guys that in this video because PVPoke's amazing. It's a great resource. I use it very often, but PVPoke makes assumptions about the way that humans play that sometimes are inaccurate. For example, a lot of these wins and losses are dependent on the opponent landing the nuke, but typically that requires a bubble beam bait or a bait with whatever their cheap charge move, which is most of the meta mons like Chinchou, Ducklett, all have some sort of bait move like Bubble Beam, and people love their debuff move. So what you're going to see me do in this video is call a ton of baits, and also the fact that Snover and Lileep are both they're sneaky good, guys, because they both beat water types and grass types with their coverage and their typings. You can destroy a double grass backline or a double water backline with the Snover and Lileep, and as well, Lileep on the safe swap can actually beat plenty of fire types as well, and can put up a nice fight against Ducklett, especially when you can call Bubble Beam bait. So this intro is a little bit long, I know. I will be dividing this entire video into chapters because this team is just insanely strong, guys. Again, 21-4, and at least half of those were against Chinchou leads. I probably faced like 13, 14 Chinchou leads, and then the other good portion of them were Duckletts, and only had really a few other things other than Ducklett or Chinchou leads, and I still managed to only lose 4 battles. So definitely jump through the video if you want to. I'm going to show you guys a ton of lost leads. The first like 5 battles I think are Chinchou. So if you want to, you can skip all this, just go right into the battles. But yeah, again, guys, you do not have to run meta in order to succeed. What you need to do is build for what you're seeing. And as you guys saw on PVPoke, basically the only thing that's out there right now is Duckletts and Chinchou. So we're going to get right into the battles here. I'm going to start us up. We're going to just jump right into it and start out with like 4 or 5 Chinchou leads and how I play out of these Chinchou matchups. So as you saw, we do have a Chinchou. Lileep is the safe swap on this team. And the nice thing is, a lot of people don't have the best answer to Lileep due to its unique typing. Again, you can beat basically all 3 of the elemental typings with Lileep, especially when you're up a little bit of energy, and especially when the opponent throws on bad timing and lets us get a full infestation through. The nice thing is, Lileep is bulky enough where we can tank a Weather Ball from the Shadow Vulpix here, and we're not going to be really in danger of being quickly farmed down with our quick attacks. So, yeah, quickly and quick attacks, you heard it here first, guys, but you've already seen I've gotten both of their shields. I'm committing 1 shield here, and since I am debuffed by that Bubble Beam, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to take Switch here, but I did get both of their shields, and now I can very safely come in with a Chinchou, tank 1 move, farm them down. But I think what I actually will do is come in with the Snover here and get an energy head start, because the way this team works, Lileep will draw out their best response to a grass type, and typically most people are not running double fire, because running double fire would just be extremely risky in this meta dominated by 2 water types. So if you can get shields down and give Snover a either shield advantage or some sort of energy advantage like you saw me do there, Snover will very often sweep entire teams. As you guys saw, we, with a shield remaining, despite the fact that we had a Chinchou lead, we take that win. So you guys are going to see quite a bit of that playing around these leads with the Lileep on the safe switch and then the Snover sweeping up and back. So again, Chinchou lead, we bring in the Lileep. Again, they're staying in and they're going to Bubble Beam here. And that tells me again that they do not have a response to our Lileep, which tells us they don't have a response to our Snover and back. And that's exactly what we want. This opponent's staying in, and I do throw the Grass Knot, as you saw, right away, because I wanted to force a shield or right away or just take them out, and they're still staying in, and they're still baiting me with a Bubble Beam. Despite the fact that Bubble Beam is neutral, Thunderbolt will do a lot more damage. And here, I'm double debuffed, so I'm not going to throw my Ancient Power right away because I want to tempt the opponent to dump their energy, and that's exactly what they do, because the Ancient Power wouldn't do that much, and they would be able to fully farm down after seeing how little the Ancient Power did. So I forced them to throw, and now I can shield once with the Snover and get a massive, massive energy head start. I'm going to throw on CMP here, maximize my overfarm, and the fact that they stayed in so long with the Chinchou lead into our Lileep tells me they definitely do not have an answer to this and back. But actually, they do have a Vulpix, so maybe the opponent just recognizing the Leap was a safe switch there, but we're still going to be just fine here. I bring back in the Clauncher, I no-shield it, I force them to throw energy, and now again, I'm going to maximize my overfarm. I'm going to farm up the CMP, throw the Stomp on CMP, and then I should be able to outpace the Vulpix to 2 Stomps. And that's just going to be a GG. They did not leave with hardly any energy on the Vulpix. I am already at the back-to-back Stomps, and despite the fact that Stomp isn't the best move ever, we will get both of these off. They are at, I think they are at the back-to-back, but we will, since that was a CMP tie, we will get our move off. And that's going to be a GG. Another Chinchou lead, another win, and that is just the tip of the iceberg, guys, because I lost pretty much every lead with this team, and again, still managed to win most of my battles. So again, another Chinchou. You guys have already seen me play 2 battles with the Chinchou. I bring it in, and this time the opponent directly safe switches into their Vulpix, which is already perfect for me. I'm already going to call here. They don't have double fire. I don't think I saw a single double fire line in 25 battles. And oftentimes, when people see the Clauncher lead with the smackdown damage and the fact that it's a water type, they're going to be very desperate to prevent their fire type from being aligned to that. So they'll bring it into the lead, but this is really just not a good matchup whatsoever for Vulpix. We're resisting the quick attacks and the body slams, and we get the boost. They're already down 2 shields, and I think I will shield up here because I will be able to take shield advantage and switch advantage from this Vulpix. And we're going to have enough residual energy here where we're going to be able to pressure that Chinchou if it comes back in. So they're probably going to be bringing in their third, and we'll have to see what they decide to do. And they do bring in their third. And of course, it is a Ducklett, and this is going to do massive damage here, almost one-shotting it. So I just aggressively bring in the Snover, recognizing they're probably going to be switching out, and yeah, this game is just completely over. Now, all I have to do is just build up to 100 energy, throw the energy ball at this Chinchou, and actually, I think I just throw on CMP here. Yeah, there's no reason to even build up to 100 energy, because their Ducklett is so low that they're just going to get farmed down, and I think I just go for the BM farm down. I have the Stomp. I'm going to call the Bubble Beam again. I love calling Bubble Beams. And we take the win. I would rather get one-shotted by a Brave Bird and no-shield it than shield a Bubble Beam. That is just my motto, guys. I do not shield Bubble Beams, period. Again, Brave Bird me, nuke me, whatever you want to do, but I will not shield your Bubble Beam. And again, another Chinchou lead. And again, the opponent's going to stay in this battle, Bubble Beam me, and I waited a turn there just to make sure they weren't going to switch out, and they are absolutely staying in here. So I'm going to just be full sending the Grass Knots, no baiting, I'm not taking any chances that the opponent calls an Ancient Power. We're just going to get rid of it right away. And they're still staying in here. And at this point, I'm just like, they clearly do not have an answer to Lileep. So Snover is already looking super strong in the back, and they double shield. And again, Thunderbolt would take me out here, but I'm calling the Bubble Beam. They Bubble Beam again. And at this point, it looks like Lileep is going to take both shields and switch advantage. And really, there's just nothing in the game that can beat a Clauncher and a Snover up 2 shields to 0. There just isn't. So at this point, they don't even build up to the Brave Bird. Easiest no shield of my career, and I let that go. They have an Exeggutor in the back, or an Exeggcute, however you say that, in the back, and yeah, this game is just over. I forget if I commit one shield and then farm all the way down. I think that's what I do, and then I just come out of here with an energy ball loaded and very low health, which is perfect. That means the Ducklett's not going to get hardly any extra farm here. Energy ball nearly takes them out, and yeah, that's just game over. And I believe I did include one of my Chinchou losses, just so you guys know, if you're running a meta team, how to play it correctly. So again, we bring in the leap here, and the opponent has a Ducklett this time. And I think this is actually the right play for the opponent, not letting Leleep get an energy lead, because Leleep with an energy lead is just so strong. It can basically force a shield from basically everything. And this time the opponent has sorry, I'm having trouble speaking already, guys. This time the opponent is running Aerial Ace as their bait move, so I think that I will get farmed down. If I shield that up, then they just farm down and probably come out with a Brave Bird. So I take my shield advantage there. This is just an Aerial Ace. I'm going to let this go. So the opponent's playing decently well so far. Just the fact that they're not running Bubble Beam, I think, is really helping them out. And unfortunately there, what made this opponent very smart is that they recognized that by safe switching into the leap, I was trying to draw out their fire type. So they bring in the Ducklett to the leap. Despite the fact that they knew they were going to be taking super effective from the Ancient Powers, the Ducklett matchup into the leap is a lot better than the Vulpix matchup, because Ducklett's just a lot tankier than Vulpix, and one Ancient Power does enough damage to Vulpix where you can basically farm it down with fast moves. So I wasn't able to draw out their fire type, and despite the fact that I had a shield advantage, I will be able to take out this Vulpix. I wasn't really counting the Chinchou's fast moves on the lead. I wasn't really paying attention, and unfortunately they are going to Thunderbolt me here. My win con there was to try to catch that Thunderbolt, but since I didn't really know where they were at in terms of energy, they do take out my Snover, and I knew I had to commit to the Crab Hammer there. And unfortunately, we are going to lose that battle. But that was actually a winnable battle for me. If I would have been paying attention to their energy, I could have caught that move. But you know what? You can't win them all. Especially not when you have a 9-month-old that's like hollering at you. So as you guys saw here, we're now into the Ducklett leads. I think I have 3 or 4 of those. Another super common lead. Basically, Snover or Ducklett and Chinchous are your most common leads. So here, the opponent is actually safe switching into their Chinchou, which, in my opinion, Chinchou is definitely not a safe switch, and the opponent, at the very least here, is not going straight Bubble Beam. They did actually build up to the Thunderbolt there, which is why I shielded it. So I throw on CMP here, knowing Snover has a pretty high attack and will win CMP against most things, and the opponent's actually going to take Switch here, and I'm going to let them have Switch, but recognizing that my Leleep, and they actually undercharged that as well, my Leleep is going to be super strong with a shield advantage, because Leleep can basically hit everything in the game for at least neutral here. Between the Infestations, the Ancient Powers, and the Grass Knots, we can hit every single typing for oftentimes super effective damage as well. So they're going to bring back in the Ducklett, and I know I should be able to get the 2 Ancient Powers, I believe, just before they make their Brave Bird here. And again, I think this is just a Bubble Beam. I'm not even sure that the opponent build up to the Brave Bird there, and they don't, and we're going to get this Ancient Power off. And if it doesn't KO, I'm going to be hard swapping into my Clauncher to farm down here, expecting that they have something weak in the back, but they called that. They knew it was going to happen, but Crab Hammer, despite the fact that it's resisted here, you guys are going to see that Crab Hammer from a Clauncher is a pretty hard-hitting move, and that does enough damage to the point where they're going to be forced to throw energy here, and this is completely perfect because now Snover can just come in here and farm all the way down, and the Ducklett is on 1 HP in the back. We take it out, and we take a very difficult game there, but we take the win, so yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. This might not be like the most fun, exciting spice you've ever seen, but for those of you guys who are struggling right now in the Element Cup and you're just annoyed at the RPS, you know, they have a fire type on the lead, I have a grass type on the lead, I switch into a water type, they switch into a grass type. This team is very anti-RPS due to the fact that a lot of our Mons have coverage from multiple typings. So that's what I think really makes this team strong. We actually shielded a Brave Bird there, which is pretty wild. And here, again, you guys are seeing we're down a shield, but we have Leleep that can hit this Chinchou that's still alive, as well as this Vulpix for super effective damage. And most of these Vulpixes are running quick attacks, so we're going to be resisting the quick attacks, which is very, very nice. And I believe I do just like to over-farm here and try to catch them throwing on bad timing, and for some reason Yeah, I had an Amber Alert pop up there. For some reason, this opponent is throwing Body Slams. Not really sure why. I was thinking maybe they were on Body Slam and Flame Charge and they just kept baiting, but as you guys know, I love to call baits, so I think I knew that they had Body Slam before, so they're probably going to just continue to Body Slam, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. So if they were running Flame Charge, they definitely should have just gone straight Flame Charge, but they didn't, and that's going to cost them the game because we got the last shield actually with the Aqua Jet, and now Snover is just going to one-shot this thing with Energy Ball, and I think I no-shield this anyway. Even though it's a Thunderbolt, we do not care, and yeah, I think I even undercharged this as well, so yeah, opponents, you just always have to at least build up to the nuke. If you're going to bait, at the very least, build up to the nuke and at least make me consider shielding. Because what I noticed, a lot of these Duckletts were just going straight for bubble beams, not even building up. I know this is not a Brave Bird. This is only at the worst an aerially, so I no shield that. Again, the Sims would tell you that Clauncher does lose to Ducklett in the one shield, but you just don't lose when the opponent just bubble beams you over and over again, because I come out of here with massive amount of energy, and I also recognize that if the opponent stayed in there to a pretty bad lead, in my opinion, that, you know, they're taking super effective from SmackDown, they probably are weak somewhere in the back, and sure enough, they do have a Vulpix in the back, and as you saw, they had a Chinchou initially, so if I just stay in there with the Clauncher and let their Chinchou farm me down, then my backline has to deal with a 2-shield Vulpix in the endgame. So what I do is, even though I won the lead there, I still safe switch out of there with the Leap to draw out that Fire type, because now I still have some HP on my Clauncher and it has so much energy, and Lily was able to get both shields off of that Vulpix. So here they switch out, they make a nice catch, but this catch does not help them because I still have energy on that Clauncher and health, and now I can just come in here, farm this Cottony all the way down, shield once, and then double stomp them. And if for some reason, say they had 2 moves loaded and I wasn't able to use this energy on the Clauncher, or on the Snover, excuse me, I still have enough health and energy on my Clauncher to take this thing out later on. So that's how you want to play this team, guys. If the opponent stays into if the opponent has a Ducklett, they stay into the Clauncher, recognize they're probably weak in the back, safe switch out of there, and just call those baits, guys, because the Duckletts just always bait. They just always bait. So here the opponent has a Bulbasaur safe swap from their Ducklett. They actually switched out of that matchup, which a few Duckletts did do, and since I correctly called the Sludge Bomb there, I'm going to be able to fully farm down and come out of here with a massive amount of energy. And they just come back in with their Vulpix this time. They don't bring in the Ducklett, which I think is a wise play by them, but then they shield the stump anyway. So yeah, they definitely should have just no-shielded the first one. I guess they're going to have to shield one anyway, so it doesn't really matter which one you no-shield, but I liked their play here of bringing the Vulpix just because an Energy Ball nearly does one-shot a Ducklett. But I'm able to get, I think, did I get both of their shields there? Yeah, I got both of their shields, and at this point, Little Leap is just going to easily sweep this game, and I think I even call another Bubble Beam here. Despite the fact that I'm in a pretty nice position, I think I just call it anyway. Yeah, I just do not care. Like I said, go ahead and Brave Bird me. They're not going to Brave Bird me, guys. Again, I started these battles in about rank 18, and I did climb up to Ace, so I'm sure that in the higher ELO ranges, people are going to be baiting less often, but it is just, the Sims just do not account for the amount of baiting that is going on in this game right now, especially in the Element Cup, especially with all these debuffing moves. As you saw, I just won a, 3 or 4 Ducklett leads in a row. I don't remember if I have another one. Maybe I do. No. So now we're into some other kind of variety of leads. Again, how far are we into this video? I don't even know. We're like almost 20 minutes into the video, and we're just now getting out of Ducklett and Chinchou leads, just because I'm sure you guys know those are just the most common leads you can see. And the Slowpoke lead really isn't any different than the other water type leads because we have 2 better answers in back, so we are going to be safe switching out just again to draw out a potential fire type or something that the Snover doesn't want to see, and the opponent responds to our leap with the Ducklett. And again, bait me all you want, I do not care. I'm just going to be no-shielding the crap out of all this stuff. And Ancient Power does a ton of damage. We pivot back into the Clauncher. Again, I'm pretty sure this might be a Brave Bird, but I think I don't even care. If that's what I'm thinking, yeah. I don't even care because when I switch into my little leap, the opponent stayed in for a while with this Slowpoke, so that tells me they're probably double weak to the grass type in the back. So I just stay in. I'm going to bring in the Snover now. I let my Clauncher go down. I'm going to one-shot this Slowpoke. What do they have in the back? And sure enough, they are running a triple water team. And Seel does not appreciate Energy Ball from Snover. Snover hits very hard. We nearly one-shot it, and just to add some insult to injury, we're going to make the unnecessary BM catch on the lead. They tried to fully undercharge it. It does not matter. We fully farmed them down, and a couple more Powder Snows are going to take care of this Ducklett, and that is going to be a G to the G. So Water-type leads, they're all pretty much the same. You do want to safe switch out of there. Again, this is not a Water-type lead, but this is another Confusion user lead. Still a lost lead for Clauncher. As you guys saw, Clauncher only has like a 64 overall score, so it does lose to pretty much everything other than Fire types and Ducklett in certain situations if they bait. So same exact thing. We called the Bubble Beam. We knew that we had two better answers for the Executor, or I keep wanting to say Executor, for the eggs. So we bring in the Lileep, and at the very least, like I said, Lileep will always get you either a shield advantage or switch advantage. So we're just going to take our shield advantage here, come back in with the Clauncher, fully farm them down. Since they baited so much, they're not going to have enough residual energy here to get to a Brave Bird. So we're just going to farm them all the way down, and then probably be instantly swapping into our Snover here, expecting that Executor to come back in. And excuse me, yeah, sure enough, there comes the Executor. Now comes the Slowpoke, and we should be just fine here. I think I probably do just full send it, expecting them to let it go. Yeah, they no-shield that, and now we're just going to fully farm them down here, I think. They probably will farm me down, but then I'm just going to smack them down here with the Clauncher. Yeah, they realize it, and they can see the match. So I guess if they would have shielded that Energy Ball, it might have been a little bit trickier, but really, I feel like I had that game in the bag. And finally, I have a couple Slugma leads for you. Other than the Chinchou and Ducklett, I think Slugma was probably the next most common lead. I think I only saw like 3 of them, but again, really didn't see too many repeats of leads other than the Ducklett and the Chinchou. So Slugma is actually a nice winning matchup for us. They say switch into a Slowpoke, and I do have to commit a shield on that matchup to maintain switch, but I recognize that even though we have to give up 1 shield to maintain switch, our Lileep had so much residual energy there that I'm able to get to 2 ancient powers against the Slugma, and they don't want to give it their last shield, so they just let it go, and they have the eggs in the back. So what we're going to do here is just bring in the Clauncher and just force them to throw, because our smackdowns were doing enough to where they were going to get pretty low, so they're forced to throw, and now, despite the fact that they get the boost, they are just going to get fully Powder Snowed down. And nice play by them, recognizing their only win con was to commit to Fast Move, so they don't throw a Charge Move there, but our Powder Snows do outpace, and we take the win there. Again, another Slugma lead. This is just really important to maintain switch, but the opponent has a Ducklett, and this is actually a little bit tricky, but again, the opponent does not build up to the Brave Bird. It just really disappoints me in the way some people are playing, and I think this could be a Brave Bird, so I do respect it, and it is an aerial ace actually, so I'm glad I shielded that. Now I can massively overfarm, and I throw on CMP to what would be a Bubble Beam if they threw. They do not throw, so I take them out, and I do have plenty of energy left over for this Slugma when it comes back in. And I go for the Energy Ball here. Despite the fact that Energy Ball is resisted, I think it still does more raw damage than 1 stomp, but they shield it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we are able to get a shield back, and since we do still have switch here, we're going to be able to put our Clauncher onto this Slugma, and they have a Bulbasaur in the back, and I think I make a bit of a mistake here. I think I should have just instantly brought in the Lileep, because now I've gotten my Clauncher low, and I've gotten this, or given this, what is this thing called? A Bulbasaur. I've given this Bulbasaur a massive energy head start, so this is actually going to be really close, because if they farm me down here, I lose, but I have to come out of here with the back-to-back moves loaded, and I do just barely get to the back-to-back. And sorry about all the ring notifications. My wife decided to like open the front door like 30 times while I was playing this battle, so yeah, but we still one-shot the Slugma, so that was a really close game. I think if I just hard swap into the Lileep the second that Bulbasaur comes in, I think that I'm in a better spot, but we still end up getting the dub, and I think this might be the last of the Slugma leads here, and the opponent brings in a Lotad, so this is the only Lotad I saw, so mad respect to the opponent for not running the same crap that everybody else is running in. This is just a Bubble Beam, so I will definitely be letting this go, and again, you already saw that Slugma is pretty glassy, so even though Stomp is not the best move here, we still are going to be putting some pressure on this thing with it, and we might even get a shield, because I found that a lot of people weren't super familiar with Snover's moves, and yeah, they do shield that, and now we still have switch, and we're in a pretty nice spot here. I think I do shield, yeah, I have 2 shields, I might as well use a shield, so I'm going to shield up, and they have a Turtwig in the back, and this should be grabbing a shield, just because Shadow Turtwig is so glassy, and then Lilip is just going to come in and just destroy this poor Turtwig. They probably won't even get to a move. They don't even get there, and that is going to be a G to the G. So when you win lead with this team, which is kind of rare, really all you need to do is just maintain alignment, because Lilip has a good amount of bulk to it, so you don't necessarily have to have shields to win with Lilip. But yeah, Seel lead, another one that I didn't see super often. I think that all the Chinchous have just kind of scared off the Seals, and I stay in initially, recognizing they're probably going to Icy Wind me. I get some smackdown damage off first, and now that they dumped all their energy, now I safe switch, just because I know if I safe switch right away, the Seel probably stays in and then Icy Winds me before switching out, and then I'm in a rougher spot against whatever comes in, because as you guys saw earlier, a debuffed Ancient Power does not KO a Vulpix, but since we are not debuffed, they are forced to shield these moves, and they're going to have to give up basically both shields here, and at this point I'm fully content to just take my shield advantage, recognizing that, again, most people are not running double fire, so I'm expecting that my Snover will have a lot of play. I come in, I farm down with it, and I'm expecting that there's probably going to be a grass type in the back. Most teams I saw with a water lead had either double grass or a fire and a grass type in the back, and sure enough, they have a C-Dot, and C-Dot is extremely, extremely glassy. And I'm going to overfarm here. I thought they might try to catch. They do try to catch. And now this Seel is going to call my bait. They're going to take an energy ball to the face. And we can just fully powder snow down the C-Dot. I think I throw, just recognizing the opponent's probably just going to let this go, because we still had a shield. Yeah, they knew it was over. They just let it go. So GG there. I think we've got, I'm not sure how many we have left. Like maybe 2. I think this actually, this could be the last battle. I don't remember. This might be the last battle. But we have a Turtwig lead here. I did not see hardly any grass-type leads. I saw one Turtwig and then one Chikorita, which I beat, but unfortunately, my recording had an error, so I didn't get to show that one, but that was a really fun battle, but really not too many grass-type leads, and I think that's due to just the fact that all the Duckletts are everywhere. But Turtwig, as you guys saw, I safe switch into the Lilip, and they do not switch out, and I get both of their shields, and I'm fully expecting that if they're weak to the Lilip in the back, they're probably going to be weak to the Snover. So I'm going to come in with the Snover here, farm them all the way down. They do actually have a Tepig, and I'm actually going to rewind it for a second, guys, just for a moment here, if I can. Yeah, we're going to rewind this because I want to show you guys something really briefly of why it is important to wait out your switch clock. I know you guys probably have seen content creators do it. You guys might do it. You might know why, but when your switch clocks are misaligned, like my switch clock's not up, as you guys see, when I bring in the Lilip here, the opponent does not switch out of their Turtwig, so they still have the ability to switch out at any time here. So they're going to fully farm down here. And as you guys see, my switch clock's not quite up. So I'm going to be waiting it all the way out here, because when I bring in my Snover, I'm recognizing if they have something that's a hard answer to it, they can immediately switch it in. And then, as you guys saw, they brought in an Ember Tepig. So let's just pretend that I bring in the Snover right now. That Tepig comes in, and as you guys see, even though I wait out the full clock, the Tepig comes in, and my switch clock was just coming up, and look at how much damage, like, 3 Embers do to my... If you look at my switch clock here coming up, it's not up, and just look at how much damage these Embers are going to do. 3 Embers do, like, over half of my health, so if I don't wait out my switch clock, I get fully Embered down, and basically all that energy I have on Snover just fully goes to waste. So by waiting out my switch clock, that allows me to get out of there in time to save the Snover, and I'm going to fully farm down with a Clauncher now, and now I still have the Snover alive in case I need it. And as you guys are going to see, once this Turtwig is gone, I am absolutely going to need that Snover. But I figure they have him back. Is it a Chinchou? No, it's a Ducklett in back, so I absolutely need that energy I have on the Snover. Otherwise, I just basically lose this game, because Clauncher is not going to have enough health left to take care of this Ducklett. Even though we do get to the Crab Hammer, we do not have enough health. They are going to farm us down here, and Snover fortunately does have the Stomp loaded since I was able to switch out in time and save it, and that's going to be a GG. So always wait out your switch clocks, guys. Now, if you're the opponent there, the opponent made a great decision, because the opponent, if you're the opponent and you know that your opponent is switch locked in, and you can take advantage of that and then hard switch something in and farm them down before they can get out of there. So anyway, that's my little piece of advice for you guys today, and I hope you enjoyed these battles. These are not, again, the spiciest battles you've ever seen. I think my team is spicy, but unfortunately the opponents are just so lame that you're just seeing the same matchup over and over again. So this team, really strong anti-meta team. As you guys saw, not the best rated on PVPoke, but I built for what I saw, and I went 21-4. So hopefully you guys can find some success with the team. And yeah, if you are new to the channel, I would truly appreciate your subscription. So make sure you guys leave a like. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.